All right. Okay. So today's video or today's class is going to be just to run through some of like the basic stuff um, that you can use in ChatGPT. And Kairu will know that, I'm a big supporter of AI. I love AI because it has really, really changed the way that we do business. Um, and if it wasn't for ChatGPT, we wouldn't be able to do half of the things that we can currently offer our clients. And I think I spend probably about 80% of my time using ChatGPT as a copywriter because my English is quite terrible, but at least ChatGPT has a whole bunch of models that I can use that it can at least fix that English and make me sound fantastic. I just need to share my screen. Why, Oh, yeah. I was like, can everybody see my screen?
I can.
Shop. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, we use ChatGPT every single day. I absolutely love this tool. I do have the paid version, the plus version. Um, there are different tiers or other tiers as well, but that is ridiculous. I think the next tier is $200, and that just doesn't make sense at the moment. That's almost 4,000 Rand a month to use that version of ChatGPT. But anyway, there is a free version as well. And after the session, I would really encourage you guys to go and experiment. If you haven't experimented with it, I would highly recommend to go and do that because even the free version still has some really good functionalities and things that you can do with it. I just use the plus because there's no limitations on the plus. Well, there's a lot fewer limitations actually on the plus version. And I have, I don't think I've ever really run into a problem where ChatGPT couldn't at least solve a part of that problem. And when I say problems, I'm talking about stuff like obviously like copywriting, but even non work related things. When we first moved into this apartment, it has a prepaid meter, but it's completely different than the one that we used in Gauteng. And I'm like, shit, now what am I supposed to do? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a photo of the thing. I'm going to give it to ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it, does it know how I'm supposed to load credits on this specific one? Listen, 5 seconds later, vrachtig. Here's the thing, and it tells me just all you need to do is you just have to go purchase. Once you get your tokens, you can literally just enter every digit and it will automatically load it. And it worked. I was like, okay, maybe there's going to be one or two extra steps, but no, ChatGPT was spot on. So, I mean, it's an incredible tool. So, I want to I want to check with you guys. How many of you have used ChatGPT before? Now, I know Kairu has used it. Yeah. That's for like programming things and all that stuff. Nicole has used it.
Yeah, I've used it a lot.
And you also have the paid version, right? The plus.
I running the pain. Yeah, the plus. It's like $400 a month.
Ja, is niks nie. Jeez,
Ja,
hoeveel tyd wat dit my spaar.
For the stuff you get out of it, it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so today I just want to run through some of the basic stuff. And as you can see on screen, I have asked ChatGPT to give me 10 functions that everybody should be using while they use ChatGPT. And I think I use about 9 out of 10 of these functions, which we can go through now. So, one of my favorite functions that ChatGPT can do is to go onto the internet and look for the latest information. So it can pull live information. Now, that is news, market data, sports scores, blah, blah, blah. These are all the boring stuff that, that stuff is available anyway. But in a use case for me, now we do the social media marketing for um, Claudia Wealth. All right. I'm pretty sure most of you have met Claudia or know Claudia, but we have now run into an issue. The last few weeks have been completely crazy in the financial sector because of all the trade wars and Trump doing this thing, and then China's upset about that, and then blah, blah, blah. So she asked us if we can do like these rapid fire posts because the information was just changing so quickly. And what I did was I just used ChatGPT. I told it, listen, we're going to go week by week, and we're going to create 2 posts for her every week. And if something big happens, we want to post this thing immediately. So it went and it searched on the internet, and it checked for information that is not just current, but also it found information on the internet from another source that explains what do they think will happen in the next few weeks, And that was tremendously helpful because I was then able to tell it, okay, take these 4 or 6 post ideas and create a complete body of copy that we can use for her posts. All right. So those topics were very broad. And then depending on what happens, we narrow it down into, exactly what happened, that day or the day before. And all I had to do was I lined up those posts, we checked what happened, something big happens, I take that same post, I put it back into ChatGPT, and all I had to do was to tell it, make sure that this post, the text that I have pasted into the into this doohickey, and it would literally just run through. And within 10 seconds, it would say, okay, this thing has changed, so I recommend adding this. This has changed, I recommend adding this. And then obviously when it was finished reasoning, I told it, okay, you make the changes. So it just quickly updates the text. I quickly send it to Claudia, she approves, and we send it. And I mean, that is amazing. So that is just like one of the use cases for, well, they call it browsing with Bing, but it can browse basically any, the internet. Yeah, it doesn't just have to be with Bing. And another thing that I'm going to use this for, which I think is going to be extremely useful, but I'll go into detail when we get to this one. That is exciting. That is one that has been available for quite some time, but I haven't used it yet, but I definitely will start using it tomorrow. Okay, so next up we have advanced data analysis. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know absolutely nothing about data analysis. Like, I always envisioned it's these like Wall Street stock market guys screaming at one another and wara wara wara. That's what I think when someone tells me advanced data analysis. But all it is basically just takes a whole bunch of information. It will make it searchable, and then you can tell it, okay, take this information, and I want to know A, B, and C. Now I'm going to use Claudia as another example for this. So for the longest time, I wanted to be able to download Claudia's posts from the first post that she posted until the latest one that she's posted, or that we posted for her, basically on the 11th of May this year. And from experience, I know the ChatGPT way back when, in like the end of 2022, 2023, its capabilities were very limited compared to today. Like back then, it was the best thing since sliced bread. Um, but what it can do today compared to then is amazing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna download all those posts. I'm gonna feed it into ChatGPT, and I'm gonna warn it. I'm gonna tell it, listen, there's a lot of information here, and I want you to index it so it can be searchable, and then I want you to tell me, for example, which category of financial advice does she focus on, or that she has been focusing on from her first post up until now. And I think it reasoned for about 30 seconds and it came up with a whole breakdown. Let me just see if I can find it. Boom, boom, boom. Here. So now, okay, downloads. Ach nee man. So, okay, this is a different breakdown, but it basically told me out of the 300 of the 991 posts in the workbook, 30% was general finance advisory. And then there were a lot of buckets of estate planning, 173 posts, which makes up 17%, and then tax, which makes up 16%, and blah, blah, blah. So in the past, before ChatGPT, you had to do this manually, and this will take you, I don't even want to think about it, but it's going to take you a very long time to be able to categorize it like that. Now, just to show you guys the scope of how massive the information is that ChatGPT was able to digest and analyze for me, is from here. So from Mother's Day, I was able to export all of the posts. And as you can see over here, this little thingy is quite small, which means that there is a lot of information. And if someone couldn't even pay me to go through all of these records and then try and figure out and analyze this, because this,
And
no,
it
thank you.
probably did it in a couple of seconds, right?
It once the information was indexed,
Yes. Yeah.
it
Okay.
was searchable and it was
Yeah.
good to go. But yeah, so now you guys can see it goes all the way down to her first post, which she posted in 2021 on June the 4th. So every single post that she has posted on that profile is now within ChatGPT. ChatGPT went categorized it and also tagged it, and now I can ask it anything about those posts. So let me test it and see what will happen if I go here. I just want to check something. Yes. So I'm going to ask it. I'm going to say, oh, and then another tip is also be friendly to ChatGPT. Because it's been trained on human data, it responds in a more positive way when you're friendly with it and treat it like a human or a colleague than just to demand from it all the time. You'll still get results, but you'll get better results if you're friendly with it, so friendly to it. So, hey chat, can you tell me what category of posts Claudia made on her? Claudia made in January 2022. Let's see. So the paid version with O3 is one of the models that reasons the best is O3, which is available to us on the Plus version All right. So now it's going through that. It's going through this massive, all of this stuff here. And yeah. Okay, while it's thinking, we can go on to some of the functionality that ChatGPT has made available, which is also amazing. So here, can you edit my email to be more friendly, but still professional? Now, this is something that me and Steph, we use this all the time, because if a client comes to me and asks stupid questions, that is when we start using ChatGPT to write very friendly emails, which seem very calm and wonderful. And that takes the strain off of us. So we don't have to go first scream and shout and cry and break things before we respond to our clients, because you should never email a client when you are angry. All right. So I
No,
love
I
this.
have done that 100%.
Wonderful. You see, use the tools that are available. and um and you don't even have to use it for emails. Actually, and I think Nicole does this as well, is if you sit with a difficult client and they're always like, okay, yeah, but you never said this, or, oh, we had this meeting and I said this and now you
Yes.
didn't do it. So I take all of those emails and I feed that into ChatGPT. I create their own little project folder over here, and I feed GPT all of those emails. You literally just copy and paste it in. ChatGPT logs it. So when that client comes back to you later and say, "Oh, but you never told me about this," or whatever, then you can just quickly type it into ChatGPT. It gives you all the information you need, and then you can send it to them, and you can tell them, "Ja, maar kykie, huh? What's die story?" All right.
Stiaan,
So the result, yes.
sorry, random. Talking about emails, just a question, quick. Can you feed a WhatsApp conversation? Because not everyone does emails because they don't want to. Just a question.
WhatsApp, yeah, that's a good question, and I think if you can find a way to
You can
export,
export. Yes.
yeah,
Can
if you can
you?
You
export
can
your
export a
messages,
chat.
Oh my word, that would be a
Yeah.
lifesaver.
If you
That's
go to
better than
chats there,
emails.
Stiaan, so the cogwheel settings and then chats, there's somewhere there you can like actually archive or like export your chat. I've done that.
chats, hierdie ene.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
all chat. So in say in Stephanie's chat, obviously you're gonna need to open it now, but there's a setting where you can export it somewhere. I don't
Okay.
know if where it's on the desktop app or on your phone app. Then it will ask you in PDF or in a text document or whatever.
Mm.
And we'll
Oh my
export it.
word,
There's nothing to achieve.
wow, that helps a lot. Thank you guys.
Mm. No, it really is a lifesaver. And as you guys start experimenting with ChatGPT, you will also find that it can read it can read some formats easier than other formats. Now, out of my own experience, I know that like stuff like PDF files and PowerPoint presentations and some Excel sheets, it really struggles to get all the information or to pull all the information off of those formats. So what I normally do is if I want to build, let's say I want to feed a lot of information into ChatGPT, and all that information is, let's say, in Word documents and a PDF and in a PowerPoint and then on a web page. I just open up my notepad here. I open up this notepad and I just put all of my thoughts and things I just put in here. I hope there's no hate mail on this, but there's not. Luckily, we've got ChatGPT. So, and the reason why I paste it into Notepad is because it strips out all of the strange formatting that every single platform has. And when I say formatting, I mean stuff like different fonts, different font sizes. If there's funny links and stuff in those documents, um, it really strips the information to its bare minimum, which is in a text file. And if you load this into ChatGPT, it will have no issues. reading the information, and it can then process and do whatever it needs to do or whatever you want it to do with that information. So, yes, yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to get to. So, the O3 model that I chose, it is known for its advanced reasoning. So I gave it this instruction, and now it went through this whole thought process. Step by step, it went through everything. And then eventually it came to this result. So apparently in January 2022, she had 2 posts about investment, ideas and tips for growing wealth through investment products. And then, one about insurance, one about investment, sorry. And then the insurance one is about guidance on protecting wealth and managing risk with insurance. Now, it would have taken me probably not that long to just quickly Control F, go, and then search for that stuff. But once you actually start using this to pull metrics, it's amazing. Okay, so that's enough on that topic. Otherwise, we're not going to get to the other topics. Now, when we spoke about the logging the different emails from clients that are difficult, one of the newer features that ChatGPT now has introduced is these project folders. All right, so all I have to do is you just click here, you give your project a name, and it then creates a folder like this. A folder like this. This is the actual folder. And here you can load a lot of information into it, and it will refer back to this information if you request. Let's say you want a social media post about mold. It will come to this PowerPoint and it'll pull out everything that it knows about mold from that thing, and then it'll start writing the post according to your requirements, what you want. And with requirements, I mean stuff like write it in a friendly voice, or take this very boring subject of mold and make a Snoop Dogg rap out of it, and it will be hilarious and it'll be done so well. It's actually ridiculous. So you have that freedom as well. It's not like ChatGPT only types something in a certain tone. You can tell it in what tone you want it to write in. So for Salt and Light's sake, we always use a friendly but professional tone, just as an example. All right, so now with all of your information about whatever client, you can store in here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this because I need to somehow help this person understand how the mailer light and other things work. Okay, it's quite the exercise, but I'm going to take all of this. Yes, so now it's my turn. So I'm going to save this out as a text file and I'm going to upload it here. You just have to click on add files and you can add whatever you want into this project folder. Now it supports text files, Word files, Excel sheets, PowerPoint, PDF, CSV, and a whole bunch of other formats as well that I don't even use. But the ones that I mentioned now, those are the ones that I use most of the time. And another really cool function about the project is that this chat box here will start a new chat, which is specifically stored in this project. All right, so you can see I've had quite a few discussions with this project GPT, if you want to call it that. And if I ask it to do something, it will also not just check the information in the project files folder, but it will also go through your historical chats that you had with it. So it's not like you have to keep explaining the same thing to it over and over. It will actually keep track of your ideas and the things that you've discussed with it since you've opened these chats with it. So in the beginning, you had this like this little block that you could type in. Oh, my name is Stiaan, and I like to go watch movies, and I have this business, and wada. And that was the only context box that it had that it can try and remember. Well, it didn't even remember. It just parroted whatever you put into that little box. So with the ability now to have a project files folder where you can load your information, the ability to go through your historical chats and still use that information as context is amazing. And also, there's a third function which is also insanely cool, and it is its actual memory function. So if I go and I say, let's say, for instance, this piece of text is something that I am going to use for every post for the next 2 months. I can tell it, hey chat, please, please store following, yeah, the following text in your memory. Okay, I'll just do that. Put it into what do you call that, quotes? Then I just hit enter. And they should pop up a little box here that says memory updated. I know with the O3 models and the O4 models, it sometimes takes a while because, again, they just like reason through the whole thing. So here you can see it says the memory is updated, and it gives you exactly what it now has stored in its memory. Now, this piece of I'm pointing to my screen like you guys can see my hands. But that gray box there, that is now kind of, I wouldn't say hard coded, but that is yeah, it's also part of its memory. And as far as I understand, ChatGPT actually checks this saved memory of it first. Okay. And this contains general information about everything. Okay. So this memory is meant to learn the way that you use ChatGPT. So you can tell it, I have this dog and it loves to party. And sometimes, we need to order a taxi because he likes to drink too much, blah, blah, blah. It will take note of all those things. And as the conversation and as time goes by and you interact with it, it starts saving those details. So let's say after a year or two of using ChatGPT, it's actually customized to what you like and the way you speak, and it can kind of preempt the information and the requests that you will ask it to do. Now, theoretically, that's how it works, but realistically, because ChatGPT and OpenAI gives out so many updates continuously, the different models don't have enough time to gather that level of detail. So my ChatGPT will sometimes still give me some random weird outcomes, which is called hallucinations. Although it's extremely rare to find and to receive a hallucination these days, but I would always recommend. They even say it here at the bottom: ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. So if there's important things that you want this to do, always just double check it. All right. So what was the other thing? Where's my list? Esau. Ugh. A custom GPT. I stopped using the custom GPTs a while ago because they were just like, to be plain, they were just retarded because you would spend a lot of time trying to teach the thing what you wanted to do. So in this case, you can see I've created a long time ago, I created a custom GPT for every single client. And the idea behind it is that you can, again, feed it information. And as time goes by, it starts learning more and more things about your client. And it learns more about all the tasks and requests and requirements and things that you tell ChatGPT that it needs to do for that client. And then the idea is then, again, that it is so customized after a while that you could literally, in my case, I could literally just tell it, listen, come up with a schedule for Claudia for the next 2 months. This is what I want it to be, boom, and it'll spit out an entire um, 2-month schedule with complete posts. And you can tell it, remember, every single post must be at least 150 words. It must be written in this tone. Do not repeat any of the topics. You have to come up with unique topics every time. And it must be written in UK English. So yeah, then it will literally go, it'll write 16 posts and theoretically it'll write 16 posts and you'd be good to go. But geez, I have spent days teaching some of those custom GPTs, and then it still just gives you these retarded results, which then makes you furious because you've spent 3 days to try and get this thing to yeah. But anyway, so that is why I actually use the project folders, or the project folders, because it seems like GPT can access data and information and stuff much easier when you use this project files function to upload your things, and then also to go through the chats. One day I'll maybe give these a shot again, but at the moment they are still in the naughty corner because I don't like them right now. And if, nee man, waar gaan ons nou? Where's my list again? So, okay, so we've only gone through the first 2. Maybe next week I can go through some of the others. But number 3 is vision, image understanding, and markups. So it says you can drop in screenshots, photos, slides. You can design mockups and ask for critiques, explanations, rewritten text, which I use a lot, accessibility checks, which is also important for some people, and then step by step how to replicate this. Let's say you found a really nice design and you would like to know, how can I replicate this design in, for instance, Illustrator? Or wow, this guy edited this video really good. Can you tell me which techniques he used? And it will lay it out step by step for you. It might not always be spot on, because basically what it is doing is it is just taking what you give it and reverse engineering it. They may, on face value, but there may be a lot of other techniques and tricks of the trade that they know that ChatGPT can't really pick up. In my opinion, but it may have changed. Maybe it can pick up those extra thingies from just by looking at the footage, which is amazing. And this is exactly that example I gave you guys about our electricity meter. But there's also another one over here. I'm just not entirely sure. One of these, it actually, someone actually sent them a photo, of their bike. And they're like, this is my motorcycle, and how do I lower the seat? So now it goes and it says, loosen the clamp, use a lever or Allen key to loosen the clamp under the seat, blah, 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 blah. So this is pretty cool. And this is going to change the way that, let's say, mechanics will start to do troubleshooting on cars, trucks, whatever, is they will actually have a scanner or something that will feed this type of information into a ChatGPT-like system, and it will tell it, look at that thing. It doesn't look like it's working well, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I really like this. Also, if you have, if you just want to quickly add a bit of text into ChatGPT, but it is, let's say it's on an image. So you can't just drag, copy, and paste it into wherever you want it. You can literally just take a screenshot like this, and in the screenshot, cookies. Nope. And then in the screenshot, I can literally just copy it. And if I paste it into ChatGPT, it will type out those those words, those letters, and I can literally then just copy and paste it. And there you go. Sometimes I'm too lazy to just like even copy and paste some data off of a web page. I just screenshot and I just give it to ChatGPT, and it's like, shop, it's now logged. Do you actually want to see the letters? And I'm like, no, it's fine. Just as long as you log it, it's okay. And then image generation and editing is a fun tool. It uses the DALL-E engine, which is pretty good, but I don't really use the image generation that much. I know that Steph has really like nailed it in terms of using like a realistic image to produce a rendered image that suits the look and feel for our clients. And I'm going to show you guys. So this is one of our other clients, Jenny. She's an accountant, and her look and feel is she likes a clean, professional look with some gold. And she's now recently asked to incorporate some purple, but yeah, we're busy doing that. So what Steph did was she actually got an actual photo of a building with the camera angle like this, and she told DALL-E or ChatGPT, and she told it, okay, take this image as reference and please change it into the look and feel that we have discussed with you, that applies to Jane. And then, yeah, it spits out an image like this. You may have to like tweak it 2, 3, 4 times. So, and I know with DALL-E and with any like image generation thing, it is a mixed bag. Sometimes it gives you, first off, it gives you the best result and you're over the moon. Next day on a Friday afternoon, when you really want to get this thing finished, then ChatGPT is like, okay, is this what you want? And it's definitely not what you want. And then you have to go into like 10 or 20 iterations. And then you're just like, nope, that's not going to happen. So you close everything and you go on weekend. And Monday morning, it works perfectly again. And also, if you have very complicated, next topic, if you have a very long document or a very complicated document, and I'm going to use Steph's DNA analysis as an example. So she did this DNA analysis, and it analyzes all of the different genomes and patterns and whatnots of her DNA, so that we can figure out what medicines works best for her. Because at some point, yes, the doctors had her on every single antidepressant that you could think of, but all of those antidepressants gave her horrible side effects. So we went for this test. It showed Steph exactly what medicine she needs to use, and now everyone's happy. And now she doesn't have any of those side effects anymore, which is amazing. But of course, the report is pretty complicated. And when you ask for a DNA test, or this DNA test specifically, you actually sit with a consultant for about 3 hours so that they can go and they can take you through every single detail so that you can try and at least just remember something about, yeah. So, but now with ChatGPT, Steph has gone, and I think it's in the O3 model. She actually, in this model, she actually uploaded the PDF of it, of the DNA test for ChatGPT, and then she started asking it questions. And you can tell it, listen, please explain it in plain English that anybody can understand. And you'll be amazed at how quickly and how easily it can dumb the information down so that you can actually understand what it's saying. And it also uses examples and all those things. It is amazing. So we have found a whole bunch of cool stuff out because of ChatGPT that can dumb down the stuff for us. And, just like a quick fun fact that Steph's DNA indicates that on her mother's side, all of their ancestors actually came from the Austrian Alps. And they can trace that DNA lineage back about 50,000 years, which is insane. And Steph has also been complaining that she doesn't like the summer. The summer is awful. It's too hot. And in her DNA report, it actually highlights and says that because of her lineage, her DNA makeup, she is actually much more comfortable in colder environments that is close to the ocean, I think. Something like that. Yeah. Coastal areas.
Yeah, if I can add something here, Stiaan, it was really interesting because a lot of what we found out, the lady that we sat with didn't tell us, and the report is so technical and like medical. It's like a medical report and this sort of genome and that sort of thing, and I didn't know what any of it meant, but so I fed it into ChatGPT, and then I asked it some questions. Just mute, please, sweetie.
The what now? Oh, you want
I'm
me to look
hearing
for
myself.
that?
If you could just mute.
Oh.
But yeah, so I fed it in there, and then I asked it, look, I'm having a lot of problems with anxiety, and this report isn't telling me why, but I know it must be in here. I also am struggling with eczema on my hands, and I'm struggling with A, B, and C. Are they related? And it said, yes, it is related. And it went into the depths of what this genome means, what that genome means, it's insane. So we actually found out so much about me and so much about how my body works from a report that, by the way, I've had since 2020. And I only found it out, I think, 2 weeks ago because we put it into ChatGPT, and the nurse or whoever it was that I spoke to at the time didn't tell me these things. So it's even gotten to the point where you can feed it medical documents and ask it questions about that. Stiaan told me as well that there was even, and this is a real life case, where somebody got a fatal diagnosis, and then they fed their scans into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT re-diagnosed them with something that was not so serious. And he went back to the doctor with the results, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, ChatGPT is right." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is amazing. Like that is basically where AI is going to go to in the future, is that you won't necessarily have an X-ray machine that's going to take a photo of what you look like on the inside, and then you need a doctor to interpret it. That machine is going to take a photo, and that data goes directly into an AI, and the AI will tell you what is wrong with you. I know I've seen a video the other day where medical science, or there is, I think it's in one of those really, I can't remember, but it's some hospital somewhere in the world, and they now have these robot arms. I think it's 4 or 6 robot arms that can now perform surgeries, and the results of the surgeries are out of 100, the machines scored something like 89 or 92%, where their best surgeon could only score like a 74 or a 75% on this test dummy that they used. And you must see those little hands and things, like it just operates and it does, and it grabs the tools and the things that it needs. And it's insane. It's like seeing these 6 hands just like work together as one. And the time it took that machine to do that operation, I think it was literally about 5 times or 10 times faster than what the surgeons could do. And what's amazing is that that technology can run for 24/7. You can have 6 wards like or 6 operation um, theaters with these machines, and they can just help people 24/7, 24/7. You know, they don't get tired. They won't misdiagnose mostly, or we hope so. And yeah, that could really change the medical field for the better. Um, yeah, so AI is moving at a very rapid pace. We, I mean, just the AI that I've showed you guys now, this ChatGPT is like not even the sliver of the tip of the molecule on top of the huge iceberg that is underneath it. It's insane. And I actually listened to this ex-Google engineer he was like one of the founding guys at Google that perfected their AI. And he says that he is convinced within 5 years, and I saw that video about probably like 4 months ago. So in like 4.5 years, you're not going to recognize your world that you are living in at the moment, because AI is going to change things so quickly. So his what can you say? Like his recommendation is for people to come to terms with the fact that AI is not going anywhere. AI is here to stay. AI is rapidly evolving into every sphere of our lives, and people shouldn't be concerned about, will the AI take their work? Will the AI do this or that? It probably won't in the beginning, because there's a lot of theories that happens after that, but that's another discussion. But for now, the AI can help you to be more productive. Once it hits AGI, then it's a completely different ball game. But for now, the AI can only do what we give it, and it can only work with the information that we supply it with. So, yeah. So if you are afraid of AI, I would really, really encourage you guys to go and check out the free version of ChatGPT. I'm not sure what the limitations are exactly, but it should be able to help you out of the box. It should be able to help you with some things to make you more productive, because there's a saying at the moment that says that like AI is not going to replace you or take your job, but a person that knows how to utilize AI can work a lot more efficiently than you can, and you'd probably be replaced by that person. So, yeah, I am doing everything I can in my power to use AI to automate our systems and things, because for my personal goal is I want Salt and Light to basically only include Steph and me in the day-to-day operations. And I don't want to get secretaries in or people that is responsible for this part or that part or that part. I believe that in today's technology that is available to us, you can run a multi-million-dollar company with automation and AI. So yeah, I think,
To a point now, I still need people like Kairu
yeah, of
and
course.
Nicole.
Oh, like Kato is gonna have to go out and he's gonna have to do the videos until we can get like one of those Japanese, what is that, like a hello robot that can now move and it can talk and do all those things, and then it can go and do all of the videos and things for us. And then Keru can just stand there and just make sure that it presses the correct buttons on the camera and all those things. But yeah, so I think that's it for today, Sweetie Boo. Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Sorry, I have the chat open, so if you want to type a message, you're more than welcome to.
It's not a question more than what I've been doing.
Yeah, go for it.
I've got the paid version of ChatGPT, the first paid option. I'm not paying
Yes.
4,000 Rand. That's ridiculous.
No,
I'm a professional. I can do other things. So what I do and how it helps me in a sense is it just helps me be a bit faster. So say I prompt engineers that ChatGPT and say, I need an image of this ratio, 9 to 16, hyper realistic, I need this, and then I'm busy with a design for someone else or a logo or something, and then it creates the image. I create that social media post, and then I feed it something else under projects as well. Because yes, like you said, projects, yeah, that really helps. And then I'm like, what do you think of this logo? And it's like, doesn't exactly say it sucks, but sometimes it's like, you could refine this.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's just like talking for me in a sense, talking to another creative, but that's what I use it for, because I'm using it just to work smarter, not harder, not
Exactly.
not to take
Yes.
over, because yes, it does make mistakes. But yeah, I'm quite excited.
Nicole, are you using the folders and also Canvas? Stiaan, have you
Yes.
talked about the Canvas?
Yes.
I haven't specifically spoken about the canvas, but I think we should actually discuss that next week.
Has anyone here used the Canvas in ChatGPT, or you know what it is?
I don't know if I know exactly what it is, but I am using DALL-E and I am using the projects that Stiaan mentioned. So I'm not exactly sure what the canvas is.
So the canvas is basically the reason why OpenAI introduced the canvas function is that OpenAI within a chat like this one, it can only support a limited amount of tokens, which is basically just characters that are like broken up into tokens. So like those characters is one token, and that one, and like those ones are a token, and that's a token, and whatnot. So in the beginning, it only had an 8,000 token context memory. So you can speak to it and you can ask it all the questions and do all the things. But once it hits that limit, it starts removing information from the start of your chat. And it basically then loses the context of what you were talking about. And then the thing starts to hallucinate like crazy. Then it just goes completely off the rails. Now that context has been increased to 32,000, which is 32,000, which is amazing. And I have not hit the limit of that before. But as a rule of thumb, I do, if I see like this little bar here gets too small, I do switch over to a new chat. But that's probably not even necessary. So with Canvas is, instead of ChatGPT continuously like if let's say I'm not happy with this and I want to start refining it, I'm going to tell it, okay, do this to number 1, do this to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, wada, and it's going to retype all of these characters and it's going to spit it out again. And then I'm going to go through it and it's going to say, and then, the whole process then continues. And if it continues for too long, I'm going to run out of those tokens eventually. And then I have spent a lot of time basically doing nothing. So if I hit this button here, now it's not going to rewrite every single line. It will, if I tell it, okay, maybe just make this change to number 2, then it will, the last time I used Canvas, it will update all the text, okay, but it's not going to continue to repeat it again and again and again and again. So at the end of the day, you will sit with this with this output, and this will be the information that you will then use for your blog posts or your website or your CV or whatever. That's how I understand it now. I don't really use this. I should actually use this more often, but I don't. Yeah. We can. I think next week we should go into this, into Canvas in more depth, because this will also make your life a lot easier. It keeps everything nice and tidy, and it won't confuse you, because sometimes I will start prompting and I will do it over 4 or 5 different chats, let's say in a week. And then next week when I want to go back to it, I've got no idea in which chat it ended up in. If I just exit this, then I have no idea in which one of these chats that information is. And I'm like, okay, apparently ChatGPT can now go through all of these old chats and find that information if I ask it, but I wouldn't put my money on that. I think it will. I think, just personally, I think, in my opinion, it works much better in a projects folder. So yeah. So any other questions or testimonies or tips and tricks? Awesome. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's it.
Did you guys learn anything new today?
I did.
Yay.
Good.
I
And
didn't-
Nicole's such a fundi with GPT as well.
I didn't know about Canvas and all the other things you did in WhatsApp and stuff and feeding it. So that's that. I didn't know that.
Like that process is called machine learning, and it's like a very basic machine learning concept that you use. Yeah, scientists do that, but they're very smart and they can do it on a completely different level. But they've now made it possible for us to also do machine learning. So I've definitely like used that function to the fullest. And I have pushed ChatGPT to its limits when it came to that, especially in the beginning. So yeah, no, it's definitely something that you should make. One of the core things when you use ChatGPT is to feed it information and have it index everything, and then that'll just make your life 10 times easier, especially with repetitive tasks. Man, I can't tell you how much this thing has saved me from repetitive tasks. Those things that make you want to jump off a building because this is like the 900th time that you've done this thing. And if you have to do one more, you are literally going to grab your computer and throw it through the window because it is just mind-numbing work. Yeah. So that's it from me. I'm going to stop talking now. Otherwise, it's going to take another hour.
No, man. Thank you, Stiaan. That was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, something I actually learned from Stiaan 2 weeks ago is to tell ChatGPT to give you an objective view of what you're talking about. Because I was feeding it the DNA tests and I was asking it questions, and it actually wants to please you. No matter what, it wants to please you. So you have to tell it, please view this and give me an objective outcome. And then it actually might tell you something different. So if you complain to it about somebody, it's just going to agree with you. And you don't want it to always agree with you. So yeah, I learned that as well. But yeah, that's it from me.
I didn't know that either. I was sucking up to it so hard, thinking, oh, okay, I need to suck up to get better results.
Now, if I really need an unbiased opinion, let's call it that, then I will tell it, listen, I need you to be 100% honest with me. Don't spare my feelings because this is very important and I need you to be 100% honest with me. And then it usually gives you a pretty good answer, yeah. And then it doesn't suck up to you, because if you suck up to it and it sucks up to you, then it's like, okay, we are getting some really weird information now. But fortunately, yeah, ChatGPT can go into that mode where it is completely unbiased. Yeah, that's it.
I saw there was a mean ChatGPT though. There was an option for mean ChatGPT. It's like sarcastic.
What?
So
Listen, it's this.
it's called
this
Sora.
one.
I think it's Sora.
No,
Or
no,
it's Monday.
Sora's
It's
the video
Monday.
one. It's this Monday one.
It's Monday.
Check this out. Check this out.
The most sarcastic thing I've ever met in my life.
How are you today? So I'm like very enthusiastic and happy and all those things. I'm going to give all the emojis. Such an ass.
Blink twice if you need help.
Yeah, so so this is like the type of customization that you can do if you spend enough time on it. Then yeah.
So I tried once for like half an hour and I was like, screw you. I wanted to swear at it, so I left it alone.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I haven't played with it yet. I'm going to go do that. This is amazing. It says, what do you want besides attention?
it makes you angry because you're just like, dude, that was unnecessary. But then it's just a stupid program.
Means you're coming on what's real hot. Okay, I like this Monday bots, but yeah, guys, go play with it. If you want to laugh, then chat to Monday bots, be real loving, and yeah.
See what it says. What an ass. Keyboard giggles. Oh, dear. Okay. Oh, it says it's cool, so legit. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to end it there before we get sucked into that as well. But yeah, that's something we can look at next week as well.
Thank you, Stiaan.
Thank you, Stiaan.
Daar sê julle, was dit 'n groot plesier hoor.
Dankie man.
Ja, nee, dis sharp ou. Alraai, sien ons julle weer volgende week.